Good evening, Michael G. Welling. It's our honor and pleasure and unique opportunity to have you with us for the interview. May I call you Mike? Is it going to be okay?
Please do.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. So, Michael G. Welling, or Mike, we read your book, The Bloodstained Sea, which focused on the U.S. Coast Guard. And it's a unique topic, I believe, since we talk a lot about militaries and our defending our nations, that what's the role of military or the U.S. Marine or other branches of the defensive system. In that regard, I guess that it's a unique topic. So I would like to start with your background. That I know a lot about you and your books, but for our presentation or for the classmate, I would like you to tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay, I'll be as brief as I can.
Yes.
I grew up in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Graduated from East Brunswick High. Went to Montclair State, then college, and graduated in 1970 as a biology major teaching certificate.
Oh wow! Nice.
However, I got drafted in 1970. So luckily, I got into the Coast Guard and spent between 2 enlistments, 5 years, 10 months, 19 days within the Coast Guard. Spent a lot of time in the North Atlantic. I made a couple of trips to the Arctic, did everything from buoy tending to search and rescue to drug and fisheries law enforcement, the whole bit. Got out, wasn't really qualified to do a lot. So this intervening time has been filled with a plethora of different types of jobs and experience. And then back in 1987, I got involved with the Bibb and Duane. They'd been decommissioned, new concept. They were going down for artificial reefs. So that spring, I found out about the Alexander Hamilton. And they were holding their first reunion in 45 years. The Hamilton had been torpedoed on January 29, 1942 off of Iceland.
Now, Hamilton or Duane or Bibb, they are some of the ship's names, right?
Right. I'm sorry. There were 7 of the 327-foot class, what they call cutters. In the Coast Guard, anything over 65 feet is called a cutter instead of a ship. So that's the terminology. So I went down to the Alexander Hamilton reunion, met a fantastic group of people, and promised them I'd write a book. I'd never written anything but letters before that. So I got back, a lot of things happened. Actually, the project didn't really take off until 1999. And at that point, I had read extensively about war, history, a whole bunch of things in between, a lot of literature. And I decided I want to write the book my way, which was different, and I wanted a major publisher. So I actually was able to accomplish both goals. I had International Marine, which is division of McGraw-Hill, for the book. And I wrote the book, and it's called narrative nonfiction, as the style or the format. But I really wanted to do it as if you and I are sitting down across the table. I wanted to bring the reader onto the ships, onto the cutters, and try to give them an idea of what it was like. In the first book, I actually knew most of the men I wrote about. I'd spent a lot of time at reunions. I've been to their homes. I'd shared food with them, drinks. A couple, I went to their memorial services. So it was a very personal book for me. But my time in the Coast Guard, low that many years earlier, really came in handy because I had been through a lot of what these men had experienced, except nobody was trying to kill me when I was out there. Nobody was shooting torpedoes at me. But I'd been in some pretty rough weather. We'd been in the same ports sometimes 30, 40 years apart. So I had a taste for it. I had a feel for what it was actually like day to day, which I think helped when I sat down to write the book. So that book was the first. There were not much after. The last few years I've been fortunately working with Osprey Publishing. I wrote a book for them called Forgotten Sacrifice, which was the Arctic convoys. Spent 3 weeks in Russia talking with the Russians.